Hello, this is a plane I bought at the David Stanley sale by book, Top Court Road. Richard Arnold pointed it out to me, so narrow they couldn't get the full address in, they just reduced it to Top Court Road. Now nobody knows exactly who made book planes. Although I did read somewhere they did make a few or they stated in one small article they were plane makers, but everybody seems to think they were all bought in, mainly made by Norris, Spears or Towel. Now this plane, there's no reference to this shape of plane in the dictionary of tools. It hasn't got a name. It would have been made to order, so it's unique in shape and everything else, as far as I'm concerned. It is dovetailed, rather large dovetails. There are 3 dovetails along this section and 1.5 dovetails on the front section. Now, I can't ever recollect seeing a dovetail metal plane where they have half of a dovetail. Normally, the first dovetail on a metal plane sets in from the end of the plane a certain amount of distance, a short amount of distance, and very often the soles extend front and back on metal planes, not always, but the dovetail's always set in, the first one, like that. But you can notice this end, there's a dovetail there, another long one, and half a dovetail. This dovetail is part of the side, same metal, and this one isn't. The normal way is you cut that bit away, that was part of the sole. So that's a very unusual feature. I don't ever recollect seeing it before. Everything about this plane is unusual, the size and the width. It's 9.5 inches long. It's got an extremely fine mouth, like a mitre plane. It's got a very low angle, like a mitre plane. This one measures, the bed angle is between 19 and 20 degrees. And I know for a fact, because I've got drawings, 19 degrees was used by Norris on his A11 mitre planes. I would describe this as an unusually shaped mitre plane because it does exactly the same as a mitre plane. Low angle, very fine mouth. It's got very, very dark, almost black rosewood infill. And this sort of mottled metal or rusted metal, I believe it may have started out more or less like that. I don't think this is due to rust, and it's not deep rust, like corrosion. And I've noticed in the past some of the infill planes I've renewed, re-infilled, when I've taken the old infill out, they're black and scaly. Some of them, not all of them. I think that's partly as the original finish. I might be completely mistaken. I absolutely love that. Or let's face it, I don't dislike it. It gives it a bit of character. You notice the bottom is probably a different metal altogether. What else can I say? It's a very plain infill, but the wedge is beautifully shaped, in my opinion. Never seen and very, very thin and delicate. And I hurriedly sharpened it up yesterday. Not really sharpened it up properly, but I had a go, just quickly to try it. And of course it works like a mitre plane. It's set up. And I've got more work to do on the iron, but it's so easy to push, and of course it doesn't tear out it's like a motor plane. The iron is a bit unusual because I've never seen this make before. It's got Murray and Co. warranted cast steel. I've looked it up and I can't find any mention of Murray in any of the books. So it's an unusual iron name anyway. It's dowelled through the infill, and of course it's tenon through there, which you can't see. You can just see the dowels. But that beautiful fine mouth. Oh, and another thing, when I first saw it, I thought that's probably made by Norris. But I know for a fact Norris didn't usually do large dovetails. They very about, I don't know, half-inch dovetails. These are about 1 1/8 inches. And also they didn't do halves as far as I ever knew. But it does resemble some of the things on a Norris. For instance, it's got on the bottom here steel upright letters, and Norris planes have that. Matheson planes often have steel, but their steel slopes. These are upright like Norris. So bearing in mind somebody's made this to order one of any one of the Norris makers or whoever made it had never made one like it before and did these unusual things. I'm only guessing at that. But I dearly love this plane. Sarah's just reminded me to talk about the chamfers. You don't normally get chamfers like this on a metal plane. You do on a wooden plane. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Can't recollect it, especially down the heel part. What else? Oh, in the latest book, or the previous Playmaker's book, where it lists iron makers at the back, I can't see. Oh, I'm getting a bit mixed up. That was with the axes. But in the previous, the 3rd edition of Playmakers, and in the last one, it lists over 30 different marks by book. And the 2 planes I have got by book, I've got a beautiful mitre plane I've talked about before. Both marks are independent of each other, but neither of them are in the book with the stamps. So that's another unusual thing. Yes. Well, there you are.